I'm running away from the past I left behind. I'm looking for answers, but I'm blinded by the light. I'm lost in the music, can I stay here for the night? I promise I'll be gone in the morning, out of sight and out of mind. Your legs are standing still. It's like you're stuck in a nightmare, but you keep doing it for the thrill. Well, this is reality, you only live it once, so wake up from your dream. But just for tonight, let the lines get blurred, let your thoughts be free, let your thoughts be free.
Testing, testing. Okay. So it's Mark, and so we're about to start our live show. And so tonight's sponsor is are the armature kits in our store. And these are made hand machined in Japan by Tetsu. And there's some great armature kits, so check them out. And now let's see if I can get rid of that. Put on our camera, hopefully. There we go. Okay. So so we've got to work on our puppet again today. And last time we made a mold of his face. So we've got two separate positions. We've got the right side and the straight on position. And so today what I want to do is I want to make the body of this character. And so before we started, I cleaned my my desk off. I used some rubbing alcohol and kind of put it on some paper towels and cleaned the area off. I cleaned all my tools off with alcohol as well. I'm going to clean my hands now with alcohol because what we make tonight is going to be on the final film, and not like the faces where we sculpt them and make a mold. So I'm just going to kind of wipe off my hands, make sure they're nice and clean. I also cleaned off, I've got the pasta roller machine, which I'm going to be rolling out the proper colors for his clothes. And maybe for his hair as well. So, depends on what kind of colors I have on hand already. So I've already got some browns. And so I might actually have a color that I could probably use for this. Let's see, I've got these, but there's some stray cat hairs on it, which I'm going to remove. No matter how clean you try to be, if you have a cat or a dog, hairs just go in the air and they settle on things and they get under things, and that's a big problem for trying to keep things, you know, nice for a film. That's the only problem. So I'm just going to kind of pick off some parts here, make sure there's nothing, no chunks of anything on here that I don't want. Alright. I'll throw that away. So we've got some clay, and we've got three colors. We've got kind of a lighter brown here, a medium, and a more or less darker sort of colored brown. And so, yeah, Janet, I really don't want to talk about the Star Wars film. I don't want any spoilers. I know some people have seen it, and even on Facebook I said, you know, nobody tell me about the storyline. If you know me, don't reveal it, because the last Star Wars film, my wife revealed it to me. She said, "Did you know that they all die?" I'm like, "Great, thanks for telling me." But anyways, I don't know, Janet. So now, so here are the colors, and so these colors don't really match this character's colors very well. Also, his face doesn't quite match the color of his face, but if you guys recall, this orange color is going to be universal between all the characters. So although I did design this character with slightly lighter shades of orange, I'm going to keep his face this color. But with the hair, I want to kind of match it a little bit better. I think that there's some more green in this, so I'll take a little bit of green and maybe mix it in with his hair, or perhaps, let's see about this color now. I don't know, I gotta kind of think about this here. Do I really want to go through the trouble? Or will this look good? This might actually look pretty good. I think I might match his pants, but what to do? Yeah, I'm gonna mix up a different colored batch of brown. And what I've got is more or less got like an olive drab sort of tinge to it. So I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to the design. I could be lazy and just go with this, but I don't want to do that. Alright, so I'm going to kind of put these to the side. So hopefully you guys are having a good week. I know the holidays are coming up. I've been super busy just with work, trying to get work done. People want me to have sculptures and things done super quick. This museum that a guy that I work for has a museum that wants certain characters completed before the end of the week, or a character, and it's just too fast. I can't actually do it. Let me get one of my tools real quick here. Let's see. Sometimes art takes time, and I kind of add some silicone on my tool. I'm just going to take it off before I use it. You know, art takes time, and sometimes it takes too long, you know, and people want it done quick, and it's not possible, and you kind of hope that you don't make them upset if it takes longer than they want. But one of the problems with good art is if you rush through it, it doesn't come out nice. And I think that I work pretty quick. Alright, so still getting the silicone off of this. I can scrape it. There we go. In fact, the silicone on this here hasn't quite cured. It's what I'm using to mold the sculpture that the customer wants. This character doesn't have a name, Weebeast. We should name him, though. He's a, just to kind of give you guys an idea, he's like a... He's a peasant in this one land that has an abundance of apples. And he's not a bad character. He's not like a mean character or anything like that. But he kind of goes with everybody else, you know. Like, that's part of the film's core premise, is that going along with others is sometimes not always a good thing. It's always better to think for yourself. Okay. So the two main colors that we need to mix up are these, is this brownish color, and it matches his pants. So technically this will be one color, and then the shirt will be another color. So we're going to start with some plain old Van Eyck brown. Nothing special to this clay. It's, it is, I bought a 5-pound block of it. I think I probably paid about maybe $10 or under for this. It's been a long time since I've had to buy it. But if you go to a place called intoart.com, it's like IN and then the number 2 art.com, into art. You can get Van Eyck clay pretty inexpensively on that site. And that's the last place that I've bought Van Eyck from online, was that site, and you can get it in like 5-pound blocks. This one here is not even open, so you can see it's, you know, it's really big. And yes, it's 5 pounds. Bob. Bob? Yeah, maybe. Alright, so and I really had to make a lot of brown for this puppet, and it's like there's two views. There's the front and the right, or left. I guess technically left. But so I gotta do the 2 pieces of hair and then the pants. So I don't want to really mix up a giant chunk of this, but I want enough to where I can have at least 2 shades of this color. I want to shade his hair so it looks sort of like there's light reflecting on it. So I think we're going to lighten this with some white, which I'm almost out of white. So I may need to actually order some more of this stuff here pretty soon. Take a bit of this white, and this will lighten it up, obviously. Make it a little bit brighter. And also some, I've got some green that I made up, which is a dark green, and I've got some plain old green as well. So I'm going to add just a little bit of this green. Now there's already green and brown, so I don't think I need to add a huge amount of green to get the color I need. A little bit less. You gotta kind of eyeball it and then take it from there. So I'm gonna kind of squish these together and use the pasta roller to squish all these into one consistent color. I might actually mute this so I don't blast you guys with my pasta roller machine that's right next to the mic. Peter? Yeah, maybe that might work too. Alright, so you can see what I did is I just rolled out everything into a nice big roll, nice and flat, and go like this so it is all rolled up, and then flatten it out again, and then use the pasta roller and flatten it. After just a couple of times, you can see it starts to get this marbly effect. And sometimes at this point you can kind of tell what the color is going to turn into. Just going to flatten it again. And roll it again. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. Alright, so you can see that green coming through. It's not thoroughly mixed yet, so it's probably going to be lighter than that, which will be, I think, close to what I want. Roll this a few more times and then flatten it. Sorry about the focus. Alright, so getting there. Might be too much green in this, but soon find out. If it is, it's actually not a problem. Easy to fix. So I recently updated my YouTube videos to have little thumbnails that reflect what the videos are about, because it's been a long time since I did that. And it turns out we've been working on this for about, I think almost like a year, this film project, if you can believe it. Since the first drawn design that I did on the show live with Krita. So we used Krita to Design Everything, which is a free program which you can download and you can do your art and everything. Oh, this is actually pretty close. Pretty close. But Krita is really similar to Photoshop. You have layers and you have brushes, and the great part is you don't need to have a subscription. So for example, with Photoshop and After Effects, you need to have a monthly subscription to download it. Which to me is kind of silly. I mean, if you need to use it, of course you don't want to have to pay like 30 bucks a month or whatever it is now. I'd rather just buy it, download it, use it. I don't know if you guys have you guys visited the web page lately? Okay, this is actually really good. I think I got the color really close to what I want for this character's hair, and I'm going to mix up a smaller batch of lighter colored brown, and I think I might add just a bit of color here might work pretty good. I don't have a lot of it. So, which one to use? I'm going to use straight yellow. I'm mixing yellow with it. Seems as though I've got some clay that's pretty close in color to his body as well. Put that to the side. Oh, Janet, what are you saying? You talked to Ron Cole about a Star Wars comic? I haven't seen much of Ron lately. I know Ron's been very busy with his current client, trying to get a lot of work done for him, and so he's been kind of hidden away in his basement, you know. Like most of us, I think anybody that's really creative ends up hiding away, working on their art. Plus with the holidays and everything, he's probably, I mean, at least for me, it's really tough to balance work and play right now because I have so much I gotta do. Okay, so I think I got enough yellow in here. Not sure I like it though. So if you guys are wondering, with faces like this, with replacement faces, you can't really do a lot with colors. You can't add highlights and whatnot. I mean, you could if you want to, but when you try to animate them, it won't look as nice as one solid color. Whereas with the hair won't be animated. It'll be kind of stuck on his head, and the replacement face will change, but the hair won't. So it kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of adding multiple colors, as well as you know, adding extra details that you want. You can add more fine details to the hair, you know, little hairlines and stuff like that, little lines, and There we go. This is actually pretty close. All right. So I got the brown colors that I need. But with anything that you're going to animate a lot, you don't want to have to spend a lot of time making replacements, really detailed ones. You know, so like if I were to, for example, on my drawing, which I don't know if you can tell, but I have some sort of like highlights on the brows, which are lighter in color. And like I said, you can add all that stuff if you want to. And it would look pretty good, I suppose. But during animation, you know, it won't look quite right. Let's see something here. I'm going to mix these two together. Let's see. Do I add any highlights in post? Weebeast is asking. Well, I haven't. I know that some people do. I think Don Carlson said that he liked to add stuff in post. You know, he's more of a post kind of person where he would remove shine or fingerprints or things that he found undesirable. He would just go in there and remove. But for me, I haven't really done that. I actually like to. Oops. I like to actually add all those details on my puppets. But for 2D, 2.5D characters, I've never done that. I like the consistency of replacement mouths and things to be more seamless because it's more believable. Like I say, it wouldn't look bad. It's just how to get it exactly the same. Nowadays, with 3D printing technology, you can do it. So on Kubo, for example, his face has all kinds of shades of colors, and which looks amazing. And it looks, almost realistic and translucent and subtle, but with, without the ability to do it in a precise way. It's kind of like King Kong's fur. He's kind of got that rabbit pelt fur, and every single frame is different, so you get like a strobe. And I mean, it's not necessarily a horrible thing or anything. Like, some people like it, some people don't, but the majority don't. I'm kind of in the middle. I really like all clay animation. I don't really see any of it as good or bad. It's just, it looks, neat to me. If there's skill involved, it looks, it's gonna look good. I mean, Joan Gratz used to paint every single frame and with clay, thinning it down with mineral oil and turning it into a paint. So you could literally take a paintbrush and dip it into the clay and paint it on your glass and then light it from behind. So someone like Joan Gratz, could pull that off with her skill. And she's won awards for that. It's amazing what she's done. Okay, so the hair that I got going on here, I think this will be pretty good. So I'm going to put on little side pieces. Click over here. Oops. Janet's asking, alright, let's see here. I wish I can ask him about canon books with events after Jedi back in before Force Awakens. And do I sometimes print custom 3D stuff? And yeah, I do. Yeah, I can show you guys a print if you want to see. It's let's see here. Now, I did not sculpt this, but this is a Naomi Campbell 3D print, and it's hollow. So I used a 3D program to make this like, you know, a human scale face. And I've got to add clay to this for my customer. I'm going to add clay over it in a very thin layer and then scrape it all off to get rid of all the little lines that go with this kind of a print. And then attach it to a full-scale head, you know, and then make a mold and everything. But this is a, you know, it's a PLA plastic. So I could technically do something like that for stop motion, but my printer is not a very good. The detail is not very good. You know, it can't capture very nice, crisp lines or creases and things like that. You know, at least not in this scale. So like this character's face has all these little details. It would look pretty horrible if I 3D printed something like this. It would look really bad. At least on my printer. There are printers where you can do that, but they cost something like $5,000, so it's a bit expensive for me. Okay, so now I've got the hair thing going on here, and this is a lighter shade, or more yellow shade. So I'm gonna kind of add this to the top, and this will be my highlight. Hold on, I don't like this piece of clay here. Get rid of that. Let me do it. Alright, camera, are you focusing? There you go. So I'm going to stick it on here. I'm not even sure that's a big enough difference in a shade of color to be too noticeable, but that's alright because that's the way the design is. And like I said, I can add all the details I want to this right now. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is my little dental tool, which I've modified and smoothed, and I broke the tip off. The tip used to be sharp, something like this. You guys can see, really pointed. So I've rounded it off and smoothed it with varying degrees of sandpaper. And what I want to do is just kind of get the lines to look more like this is real hair. So I've also got my other tool, which has got a smooth end, and this is more for larger details. So I'm going to start with the larger sculpting details first. Just going to come in here and kind of add those lines. There's no rule to doing this or anything. There's no trick. It's just using your eyes, and whatever you think looks good, go with it. Now I'll use the more fine tool here, and I'm going to come in and another line here and there, and then see what it looks like. So this will give him his, a lot of character. So it may look good, it may not. Very possible that it might look bad after I do this. But it's clay, so you don't have to really worry. You can just kind of have fun. Try it, see what looks good, and then if it looks bad, just change it. Sometimes if hair or clothing has wrinkles that are really uniform in size and scale, or if you space them equally, it won't really look neat. It'll look kind of cheesy. Now with this highlighted clay, I think I might just kind of smooth it into the other clay instead of just having like an edge to it. Blend it in. And then re-sculpt in all these details. So I'm thinking I want more of a chiseled look to this than this kind of uniform look. So I'm just going to kind of come in. Really sure what it's going to look like, but just kind of go with it, see what looks good, and then because hair is really not super perfect. You don't want to make it look like it's all plastic and smooth and perfectly round and all that. Sometimes you have to sculpt it that way to realize, you know, it doesn't look nice, and make changes as necessary. It's one of the things that a lot of people are afraid to do when they sculpt, is to, you know, alter what they've done or just completely throw away something. But we got the highlight in here, which is subtle. We've got some volume and shape to the hair. Thanks, Weebeast. And so Janet saying, how big price have you for 3D print stuff? So what does it cost? Well, it depends. I mean, PLA filament is a little bit expensive. It's like maybe for a kilogram, it's about 25 bucks, 25 bucks. The printer I paid, I think, about $400 for, and I put about, you know, 200 and maybe 200 and, or maybe 150, I don't know, and customizations and trying to make it better, which did make it better. So what I've got is actually really nice compared to what it started out as. I was able to get the accuracy and like if you buy a 3D printer, a lot of times there's a fan, and the fan will only blow on one side of your model, so the other side doesn't cool properly, and it's not as you can't get much of a hard edge to it. It'll kind of be saggy because it's always too hot. So there's like a custom special fan blower that you can add on, and you know, you 3D print it. So you actually 3D print improvements. Let's see. All right, so we got a face, we got some hair. I'm going to smooth this with oil in a minute, but I just want to kind of go over it again just to kind of detail this part. My hands are a bit warm right now, so it's a little bit difficult to sculpt the clay without getting it to be a bit mushy. But here's what the hair will do, kind of like this. That's pretty good. All right. Now I've got this hair, and I think I also, what I want to do is I want to add some more darker brown to it as well. Got some darker brown. Well, actually, let's see here. I think even darker than that. I might want to add some green to what I have already. So I'm going to add green to a chunk of this. Straight green, like this. Maybe to about that much. So I only need a small piece. I mean, if you guys are interested in 3D printing, you know, there's a lot of 3D printers out there now, but it does take a bit of skill to understand them. And you know, I did not really have that skill when I started out. I didn't know anything about 3D printing until I brought one and just kind of threw myself into it and forced myself to learn it. And I learned the hard way. I actually ruined one of the computer boards on my printer. I had to buy another one and stick it in there because I ruined it. So there's a big learning curve, but once you understand it and once you get it, you gotta spend a lot of time, you know, learning about it and trial and error and using different programs and different settings. But once you do it, it's like, oh, okay, you know, now all I have to do is, you know, press a couple of buttons and it just works. But when you first start out, it's not like that. It's pretty difficult. Alright, so this is really too green and it's not darker. Should have used a darker green instead. Alright. Might use this for something else though. Let's see. I'm gonna use this brown. Actually, let me first smooth this with oil. So, I lost my little plastic container where I put oil. What I usually do is I put this in a, take a paper towel, put it in the plastic container and pour mineral oil on top of it. But I lost my container. Oh, I know where it is. I'm propping up one of my sculptures over there. But anyway, I'm going to pour some oil on this paper towel. I think I put a little bit too much in there, but I'm going to kind of smush it in there. Kind of let the paper towel absorb it. It's not too bad. And I'm just going to take my brush. Now I cleaned this brush before to make sure that the bristles were clean. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to sort of go into the hair. I don't know if you guys are able to see or not, but this is what the sculpture is looking like. And so I want to smooth it. So I'm going to go in there and kind of go with the grain of the hair, so to speak. So I've sculpted in textures that go in this direction. So I'm going to kind of take my brush, get in there, and just kind of smooth it out a bit. And if there's too much oil, you can always rub it off with your brush, dry your brush off and rub it off later. But this will kind of make it more uniform. Really, I'm just trying to get rid of the fingerprints, things like that, and this will pretty much be done, I think. I'm going to add in maybe a few different shades of strands of hair to give it a little bit more character. Like this. Now I'm going to dry my brush off and just kind of go over it a little bit and make sure it's not unusually shiny or anything. I'm going to use my finger. So it's pretty clean. And then I'll just take some little strands of different colored browns, maybe just to kind of give this guy some more character. Because this one, like I said, this hair will be used in the actual film, so I want it to be pretty nice. I'm going to stick it on the side. If you guys watched my Zombie Pirate Tales film, I did this with Captain Quill. With his hair, is just to use different shades like this and kind of roll it in and, you know, kind of sculpt it if I need to. Kind of get in there and make sure it looks like it's part of it. Make it look neat. Kind of feather the end into it so it looks like the two colors kind of meet. It's not like ending abruptly. So So we're just blending the colors for the most part. And maybe another one. Let's see here. Maybe something like this. Because in my sketch, what I've got these sort of, actually I use black lines, you know, so I could have used black on this if I wanted to, but I don't want it to be too dark. I will have a lot of lighting that's to the side, which will really bring out the details. So the browns will be kind of nice to have, and I'm just going to kind of get in here and do another shade of brown there. And I'm not keeping it like uniform, so the length of this line here is a little bit longer than that one. So you must later paint stuff from 3D print. Yep. I don't actually paint the castings. There's a guy in New Jersey. His name is David, and he works for a company called, it's his own company called Dash and Dazzle. So at least for the mannequins and stuff, the guy that I'm working for, David does the paint jobs. But with 3D printing, you print it out. When you're printing something, it's in any kind of color that you stick in the printer. So if you buy PLA, it comes in, you know, a rainbow of colors from pink, purple, orange, black, white. And it's one color when it comes out. You know, there are printers that you can do multiple colors with. In PLA, that particular type of plastic. But the quality is really not that nice at all, unfortunately. So if you want to do colors in 3D with 3D prints, the really expensive printers out there are, you know, like I think maybe $30,000, which is really expensive, but it looks great. You know, that's what they're using for, you know, the current films at Leica and stuff. Okay, so now we're going to do this side view hair here. Let's see what time it is. We have about 20 more minutes left, so we can get the hair done today at least. So the same process, we're going to just take our clay, shape it as needed. I think this hair turned out pretty good. I think it looks pretty much exactly the same as the drawing. I see it in my camera when I stuck it down here. It looks like it's part of the sketch. So I'm happy with that. Now with the side view, we've got some like dimensionality going on here. It's like this part here sticks out further. This would be like closer to the camera. So I'm going to try and sculpt it where this part is a little bit higher than the rest, just for that 3D effect. And it's still going to be very flat. We're not sculpting full dimensionality, of course. It's more like a relief. So, but you do want to kind of follow what the drawing is. You want to kind of get that, the height where it needs to be, and all the contours. Something like this. So are you guys all ready for the holidays right now, or have you guys done all your, I don't know if you all have done Christmas shopping or anything, but that's a big thing right now. My wife is trying to get all the presents for our son, and he's into like model ships, things like that. So, you know, we're trying to make him happy with, you know, some of those kind of things. So I bought him like a tank model. I think it's a Sherman tank, which looks really fun to build, but I'm gonna have him, you know, try to build most of it. We got him glue and everything, and he loves that stuff, so that's kind of what we're after for now for him. And I don't know what my wife really wants for Christmas yet. I mean, luckily we had the money to buy some things, you know, but we're not rich or anything like that, so maybe one day, maybe if this film does really well, it makes millions of dollars. So EB says, the days are already slotted for work and shopping. Too busy. Yeah. I like the holidays sometimes because, you know, you can get together with family and friends and all that stuff. But, yeah, it's like your time is precious. Time is precious. Alright, so I'm going to kind of try to emulate the style I had before here. So I got this kind of swooping motion to this guy's hair. And so I'm going to kind of stick to that. This guy's kind of got like an Elvis haircut sideburn thing going on. Very high sideburns. So here we have, let's see. I think that'll be pretty good. So hopefully some of these videos will inspire people down the road to make these kind of films. One of the things I still think that, you know, nobody has really broken ground on is virtual reality and clay animation, or stop motion, really, for that matter. There's like a virtual reality Lego film, I think, and you know, the technology is just not really there for consumers. Like I've been trying to research cameras and stuff, but they're either really expensive or they're really poor quality. And the one that I was thinking of buying is about $500, which is very expensive, you know. And that's on the cheap end. And the really expensive one that I found was about $2,000. And then there's all this like proprietary software that goes with trying to edit virtual reality, you know, the videos and stuff. And some of the file sizes, the cool part is that the file sizes on virtual reality videos that I've found are between 500 megabytes and a gigabyte in size. So you can't really make a feature film with that. It'd be just too gigantic of a file size. So it works really good. I think it would be, you know, optimized more for animation for very short films, you know, short film projects, where at least the files could be shared and it wouldn't be too burdensome, too much of a burden for people to download. Now that's just a theory, you know. I haven't tried to make one yet, and I don't have the film equipment to do that. And this particular style doesn't lend itself to it either, because this has got to be, the camera has to be locked down, and it has to be exactly lined up with your puppets, because they're in layers, you know. So if you saw it in 3D, you would see the layering. So you can't really do that with this style, but with an armature and a clay puppet, or foam puppet, silicone, whatever you want to use, lends itself really well to virtual reality. So I don't know who the first person is going to be to make something that is viral on YouTube in terms of a virtual reality stop motion film, but I think Henry Selick would be somebody who'd be interested in trying that out. He's always into new technologies and things. So I think maybe one day, if there's anyone that will ever make a really good stop motion film, it would be Henry Selick, if he does it in virtual reality. I mean, he pretty much broke the ground for 3D printing to be used in stop motion on Coraline. The first person to do that. And I still don't really understand. I mean, maybe because it doesn't have widespread adoption or something. A lot of people don't have the virtual reality headsets. But from what I understand, they are predicting that virtual reality is just going to keep continuously growing. It's got a really amazing growth spurt right now. And there's like the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. And computers are coming, the cost of a computer to do virtual reality is coming down in price. So it's becoming more and more affordable. It's not there yet, though. It's still like $600 for the Vive, I think, and it's still like $500 for the Oculus Rift. And I went ahead and bought one when it went on sale a while back, and some of the things on there are really just amazing what you could do. I mean, especially with art, with like the Google tilt brush, and there's games that are very immersive as well. You can go on YouTube and you can watch videos that are 360, which I don't really care for, and then the 180 videos. And the 180 videos are stereoscopic and immersive, and you can sort of with stop motion puppets, I was trying to think how you would do it, and you kind of have to do stuff close to the camera. You can't do things too far away because it's blurry. So like when people have a city scene that they take a video of, the distant stuff doesn't look very good. The quality of the devices that you've used video with, the Oculus, for example, it's kind of pixelated looking, so it's not so nice. But for close-up objects, it's pretty good. Okay, so sticking to the style of hair that I did before, I'm going to try and just emulate the same thing for the side view. And I guess it's almost 9 o'clock, so this might be the last thing we do for today. Yeah, Wee Beast. Now I did add another week to the challenge, 5-week challenge. So it's actually a 6-week challenge, just to give you guys more time. I understand it's going to be hard because of the holidays and New Year and Christmas and some people Hanukkah, just getting together with family and vacations and all that. So I understand completely. I'm in the same boat. Oh, I think this is going to look pretty good here. I think I'm happy with this, actually. Got our hair thing going on here. Adjust that a bit. No, this one here is not so good. Let's fix that. Spoke too soon. Janet says, I don't like Christmas because my parents argue about preparations like cleaning house and cooking. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it can be stressful sometimes too. All right, so we've got some hair. We got the side, we got the front. So I'm getting pretty excited about this character. We've got the faces done. We got the hair. So the next show would be for us to do the body, of course. We've got the colors. We got these colors for the pants. These two colors. And we've got this strange green color, which I don't think I'm going to use this for this character, but whatever. Never know what we can use that for. Yeah. See, maybe I'll show you guys a close-up before we end the show. Kind of put him in place here. Let's see. Now this little side piece of hair here is going to be different in the end. I'm probably going to put it behind his head on the glass, but you can sort of see what we've got going on. Probably looks a little bit odd at the angles that I'm showing it at, but let's see if I can get it straight. So sort of like that. We haven't put the eyebrows and we haven't painted the eyes and all, so still a lot left to do, but he's going to come together really nice when we make his body next time. Alright, well anyways, I do appreciate you guys coming by. I know it's been kind of a slow couple of weeks because of the holidays and everybody's so busy, but I do appreciate you guys coming in and talking. It's really fun. So anyway, I guess I will see you all next week. If you guys have any questions or anything about anything you saw today, just leave a comment down below. See you all next time.